Hey everyone, Lara here from testprepinsight.com, and today I'll be providing a quick review on the Babbel German course. I tested out the app for a few weeks, and I'll cover how the Babbel German course is structured, what the lessons are like, pricing, and of course what I like and what I don't like. If you find you need more detail at any point, you can always check out our full, detailed written review on our website. An easy way to get there is just to Google Test Prep Insight Babbel German Review. And you could also ask ChatGPT to find it too, if you're using it. All right, so let's kick this review off by breaking down how the Babbel German program is structured and what the lessons look like. So from a high level, the Babbel program is broken down into about 15 different overarching levels. Some of the levels are topic-based learning modules, including business German and traditions, which provides some cultural insights. Then each of these levels contains somewhere between 2 and 8 courses, each of which has 5 to 15 lessons that take about 10 to 15 minutes to complete. These lessons are the building blocks of the program, so instead of getting caught up in the courses and the levels, your goal is simply to complete a lesson or two every day. Assuming you've never done any German before, you'll jump into the beginner level and start with Newcomer Course 1. You'll complete about 14 different lessons before moving on to Newcomer Course 2. You get the idea. Across all of these different levels and courses, there are about 225 hours worth of lessons. That may sound like a lot, but there is a ton of content to cover when you're learning an entirely new language. Then getting into the daily lessons, I'll start with this. They're very short. As I mentioned earlier, each lesson is only about 10 to 15 minutes long. These lessons honestly feel like they barely take any time at all because they're made up of several quick-hit interactive drills. Instead of just doing one exercise for 10 minutes, you're working through a dozen short exercises that come in a wide variety of formats. This very diverse, blended approach moves quickly, and throwing the same content at you in a variety of ways really forces you to interact with the material. This is in contrast with other language apps out there, like Rosetta Stone, which just sort of hit you over the head with the same type of exercise over and over again. So from an overall lesson perspective, Babbel definitely gets high marks. And by the way, if you want to see examples of the Babbel drills and exercises that I just rattled off, be sure to check out that full written review I mentioned. I'll have it linked down below in the description for you. I've got screenshots and examples over there, so you can get a feel for what to expect. Next, let's tackle the question, how much does Babbel cost? Babbel offers a few different subscription options that let you commit to 1, 3, 6, or 12 months at a time. All of their plans are $18 per month retail price, but you can often get a discount during promotions. The 12-month plan usually ends up costing around $8 per month after discounts. Compared to competitors, the Babbel German cost is somewhere in the middle of the pack. They're a little more expensive than the likes of Duolingo and LingoPie, but cheaper than Rocket, Pimsleur, and Rosetta Stone. Overall, from $8 to $15 per month, which is after promotions, they're on the affordable end of the spectrum, and I would consider them a strong value. Babbel also offers a lifetime subscription, giving you unlimited access to all languages. You can sometimes find it discounted to as low as $200 to $300. If you want to test out the app before fully committing, Babbel does have a 20-day money-back guarantee. It's not as good as a free trial, but it basically serves the same purpose. Also, I should mention that Babbel does frequently offer deals and special promos, so be sure to check the description down below for coupon codes. I'll drop any current discounts I can find down there for you, and maybe you can save a few dollars if Babbel ends up being a good fit. Okay, now that we've covered pricing and what the Babbel lessons and program are all about, let's get into the juicy part, what I like and what I don't like about Babbel's German program, starting with the features I really like. Number 1, I love the design of Babbel's lessons. They're fast-moving, diverse, and just plain fun. For people who don't have an hour straight to work through a lengthy lesson and are just trying to squeeze language learning into their busy schedule, Babbel is super convenient. Babbel's lessons only take up to 50 minutes to complete, whereas a Pimsleur lesson will typically take upwards of an hour. And what's new in 2025 for Babbel is their AI conversation mode, Babbel Speak, where you can easily follow a scripted conversation about a common topic to get a feel for the actual phrases people use in common day-to-day scenarios. All right, number 2. I really like how Babbel weaves grammar instruction into their lessons. Compared to Pimsleur or Rosetta Stone, Babbel is less about pure immersion and more about structured grammar. I personally think it's incredibly important to understand the basic grammar building blocks so that you can quickly make sense of a new language instead of feeling clueless or confused about how to put words together. I think the research-backed Babbel method does a really nice job of achieving balance. Their grammar snippets are short and subtly woven into the lessons, so you're just focusing on one quick teaching point at a time. My third pro is the regular review lessons. Basically, every time you log in to do a new lesson, Babbel will hit you with a quick review session. These sessions usually only take 3 or 4 minutes, which is just enough time to refresh your memory and make the material stick. Babbel's review sessions with spaced repetition mean you're seeing the same vocab again and again, helping it quickly sink into your long-term memory. At number 4, I love the guidance that Babbel provides. From the second you log in, it's clear exactly what lesson you're on and what topic you're going to cover next. I want my hand to be held through the process just so that I'm not experiencing decision fatigue. Babbel does a great job providing a clear, logical course progression so you never feel lost or confused. Plus, their user experience is awesome. Looking at their mobile access, Babbel app was just updated with a new interface in 2025. You can access the full lessons and even some extra resources like German podcasts, videos, and the Babbel magazine. I really enjoy these multimedia options that let you engage in a variety of ways. That being said, the app isn't designed for you to learn German while driving, like Pimsleur's audio lessons. It just comes down to how and where you learn best. All right, last up here, I like that Babbel uses a lot of English directions and translations. Not all language companies out there do this. Rosetta Stone's, for example, is big on immersion, meaning they use very little English, even for giving directions on how to complete the exercises within the program. I get the merits of the immersion argument, but when you're learning a new language like German, which is very different than English, and you're just thrown into the fire from day one, it can be frustrating and potentially even burn you out early. So I like that Babbel guides you with English directions that fade out as you get further into the course. It's sort of like getting the best of both worlds. Increased immersion once you can handle it, but more guided instruction at the beginning when everything is fresh and you really need a little extra support. All right, so that covers my pros. Now let's turn the tables and talk about the things I don't like about Babbel. But before I get to that, I should mention that every single month here at Test Prep Insight, we give away a free language learning subscription to one lucky person. It's super simple to enter and everyone is eligible. I'll put all the details down below in the description. It'll take you less than 10 seconds, and hey, you never know. You could win a free Babbel subscription. Okay, first up, I feel like the Babbel German language program isn't that great at developing your conversational skills. There are verbal practice exercises where you can repeat words and phrases, but this is definitely a limited feature to what many of the competitors offer. Instead, I feel like it was on me to try to think through how I would actually use a phrase in real life that I had just learned. I'd have to imagine a scenario where I might use that phrase, then practice out loud with an awkward back and forth conversation I was having with myself. Other language programs out there like Pimsleur and Rocket provide tons of mock conversations and audio practice, so you're not left coming up with your own speaking practice. I do appreciate the drills they offer, but still I'd like to see more robust speaking exercises in the Babbel course. Number 2, my second gripe is about the vocab tab in the interface. It's actually a pretty cool concept. I use this tool almost daily because I find it super helpful. My complete here, though, is that this vocab feature doesn't capture everything you've learned. After a lesson where I learned, say, 7 new words and phrases, it only shows 4 or 5 of those words. So overall, I like this vocab practice tool. I just wish it captured everything. Last up here at number 3, Babbel no longer offers live classes. As you start getting into the intermediate and advanced lessons, you'll want to practice more by actually speaking with people who are fluent or at least proficient. Honestly, real conversation practice is one of the main difference makers in pushing your German over the edge. And Babbel used to offer a live class you could get for a little extra, but now they don't give the option to advanced learners. Babbel isn't best for advanced learners unless you're pairing them with another resource for more conversation practice. All right, so that about does it for the detail on this Babbel German review. Overall, I was really a big fan of Babbel's German program. I love their fun, diverse drills and exercises, their rapid-fire lessons. I also like that they include English directions and translations, plus bite-sized grammar tips mixed in with a logically structured, smart course. Yes, I do have a few minor complaints like the lack of in-depth speaking exercises, but by and large, I think Babbel is a really effective option for learning German. Plus, it's hard to argue with the price tag. They're one of the more affordable options on the market. So, who's this perfect for? If you want actual grammar lessons, not just picking it up as you go, this could be your thing. It's also great if you learn better with variety, mixing up drills with videos and podcasts instead of just one format. And if you're busy and can only squeeze in 10 or 15 minutes at a time, the bite-sized lessons work really well. So overall, I give them high marks. I wouldn't hesitate to go with Babbel to learn German. And that's all I've got for you. Make sure to subscribe, like, and drop a comment with any questions you have about Babbel German or your experiences with Babbel or other language learning apps. Finally, remember to check out our website at testprepinsight.com and the rest of our YouTube channel for more language learning reviews and comparisons. Good luck on your language learning journey, and we'll see you in the next one.